You know, if there's anything I absolutely look forward to all week long, it is Saturday breakfast. But sometimes you don't always have something really fantastic to whip up. So this particular menu is something that I came up with when I didn't have a whole lot of spectacular stuff in my fridge, but I had a few things that I could put together to make a really good breakfast. Okay, so what we're making today is Deconstructed Eggs Florentine. In the restaurants, eggs Florentine, you have them on toast, bacon, and a poached egg, and some hollandaise sauce, and oh my God, it's just so crazy. This is super easy, and this is something I had in my fridge a couple of Saturdays ago, and I absolutely love it. So here's what you're gonna need. Of course, you're gonna need eggs. Personally, I don't like Canadian bacon, but I always seem to have deli ham around. So I use deli ham in this particular recipe. Then we're gonna make some cinnamon apples for dessert. So just some regular apples, some butter and cinnamon and brown sugar. And then on the side of the eggs Florentine, we're gonna make hash browns, real hash browns. They're so easy, you're not even gonna be able to believe how easy they are. So you're gonna need potatoes and butter for the hash browns. So let's get started. I gotta turn this off, hold on, because this is bubbling. Okay, no, it's good. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do first. These are hash browns, okay? All this is regular potatoes. They're russet potatoes, and all you do is use a box grater and grate them, and then you put them into a bowl of cold water. And you stir them around, and this is what's gonna take all that starch off, and it's gonna help the potatoes stay a little bit firmer and a little bit nicer when you go to cook them. This is probably about six potatoes, okay? Now, what we're gonna do is take them out of the water and just drain them and make a colossal mess and push down on them because you want as much water out as possible, because when you put them into the pan, they're gonna be in a pan of butter and olive oil. Can't go wrong with that, man. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get a bunch of paper towels, and I'm gonna put those potatoes on the paper towels, and we're going to squish them, because you gotta get as much water as possible out. Because if you don't, what's gonna make those hash browns yucky and gummy, it's all that water. So just make sure that you get as much water as you can out. Just squish them, squish them, squish them. And it's super easy. Okay, now I'm gonna get these in first. The eggs are gonna be the last thing you cook. We're gonna get these in. I've already got a pan ready with some hot butter and olive oil. Let's go to the stove. I didn't say this was gonna be easy. Okay, so this is my pan. It's got some olive oil and some butter in it. Now, the reason why you put olive oil and butter together is because the olive oil prevents the butter from burning. Now, I'm just gonna sprinkle those on there and kind of, loosen them up a little bit. And those are gonna sit there and cook for about, I would say 5 to 7 minutes on this side. And then we're gonna cut them into fourths and flip them so both sides get nice and toasty and nice and delicious and yummy. And these don't take really hardly any time to cook, about 10 minutes, because you're just cooking the potatoes, but since they're shredded, they're super fast to cook. Okay, that's that. Now, what I'm gonna do next is get my apples into this pan with some butter and some olive oil. Now again, just a little bit of olive oil. It prevents the butter from burning, okay? Get these apples, and they're just cut up, you can see, into little bite-sized pieces. And we're gonna get those in. And these are gonna be amazing next to the eggs Florentine and next to the hash browns. We're gonna let those sit for a minute. And I'm gonna let these cook for about 2 minutes before I put the brown sugar in. That way, they get a chance to cook, and the sugars, the natural sugars of the apple and the moisture from the apple gets to be drawn out a little bit, and then it will turn into an amazing cinnamon syrup, sugar, deliciousness thing going on when we put in the brown sugar. Yummy. Okay, now we're in the home stretch. Here's what you need to know about hash browns. Really all you're doing is pretty much getting the water out of them when you're cooking them. So these have been in the pan for about 10 minutes. I'm going to put the fresh spinach in. If you think that you don't like spinach, it's because you haven't had fresh spinach. So trust me, try the fresh spinach. I don't like canned and I don't like frozen, but fresh spinach is amazing and it cooks down to absolutely nothing. This will cook down to maybe enough for 2 people, believe it or not. It cooks down to nothing. So that's in the pan. It's going to take a couple of minutes to do. Let's throw some eggs into our pan. Now what I'm going to tell you to do is put them on one side of your pan, because on the other side of your pan you're going to take some just basic regular deli ham and you're going to put this right next to the eggs so it warms up with the eggs as they cook. Okay, now you do have a lot of things happening on the stove all at once. Don't panic. It looks like a lot of things going on, and it is, but it's really just kind of throwing things into pans. Okay, so here's your eggs. Those are getting ready. Here is your deli ham. Just put that right next to the eggs so it warms up a bit so you don't have cold ham with your eggs Florentine. There you go. And this is just regular old deli ham. These are your apples. We're going to get some brown sugar in them so they start getting that delicious glaze. And this is about 4 apples, I would say, and about a ½ a cup of brown sugar. And then you're going to put a little bit of cinnamon, maybe a ½ a teaspoon, okay? Just sprinkle that over and then stir those around a bit so that that starts getting caramelized and starts melting that brown sugar and getting that cinnamon all over those apples. Oh, those look delicious and they smell fab. Okay, and that's like at a medium heat so that it melts that brown sugar. Okay, now we're going to flip our hash browns. I've cut them into about 4 little pieces. This doesn't always work, I'll tell you. Just do the best you can and turn them over. And there you have brown on one side. They're going to get brown on the other. Ooh, 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 look at those. Don't those look fabulous? Oh, look at that. And this is taking about 10 minutes. Now, throughout the cooking process, what I've done is I've used 2 spoons and I've kind of like moved them around a little bit. That way they start cooking and drying at the same time. And look at those brownness. Those look fab, don't they? Now I'm going to turn that down and I'm going to start moving this around a little bit so that your spinach starts getting cooked. And if you see, it's wilting down really nicely. And this will wilt down to absolutely nothing. This is on a high heat right now. And it will take just a couple of minutes, just long enough to get your eggs done. Move that ham to the side. Get your spatula under your eggs. I gotta be honest with you, there's lots and lots of times that I break these. There you go. Ta-da! A perfect flip. Okay, so we've got our cinnamon apples. Let's move those around a little bit more. Those smell so good. And pretty much this whole thing took about 15 minutes to cook. So you got your cut up apples, a little bit of butter, a teeny little bit of olive oil to make sure that that butter doesn't burn, about a ½ a teaspoon of cinnamon, and about a ½ a cup of brown sugar. You've got your eggs Florentine in here. Let's turn this ham over a little bit. Ooh, nice. Nice, nice, nice. Ouch. And those are just about done, so I'm going to turn this off and let them just sit there in the hot pan. Over here, we have our spinach, and this is why they're Florentine, by the way. Florentine is just eggs with spinach, and that's almost cooked down. Ooh, 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 look at that. I love fresh spinach. Remember how much spinach we put in that pan? Look how delish that looks. And then here are our hash browns. We're going to plate. Get ready to eat. Okay, Saturday breakfast, 15 minutes. You got hash browns. You have some delicious, please try this, fresh spinach. It's so good. You have some just basic deli ham that you warmed up as you were cooking your eggs. This is Deconstructed Eggs Florentine, and the best thing about it is you don't have to mess around with boiling water and poaching an egg and blah, 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 or getting dressed and going to a restaurant. You've got it in your kitchen, cook. And then for dessert, oh, cinnamon apples. Man, I gotta tell you, these you're gonna be making all the time. You can make these and you could serve them to your kids because they taste like a really crazy, sugary dessert, but they're not, and they're good for them. They're apples. Who could have a problem with cooked apples? They're so good. Please taste them. Okay, let's go in. Now here's why these don't look like restaurant hash browns, because these are real potatoes. You went ahead and shredded them. You put them in the pan. A little salt, a little pepper, a little bit of garlic on them. So fabulous. If you have not had fresh spinach, you need to. Fresh spinach is a revelation. It's so good. Plain old deli ham. What I'm going to do, I like my eggs cooked pretty well. Okay. So I'm going to go in with a piece of the ham and some of the egg and a bit of the spinach. And there you have, my darlings, eggs Florentine. Trust me, you're going to be making this every Saturday. And how did we do it? Just like that. Oops, forgot my breakfast.